Good evening, everyone, and to our dearest professor. I am Angelica Fider, and tonight I am going to talk about the first part of principles and procedures for adapting materials. The reasons for adapting that we have just looked at can be thought of as dealing with the modification of content, whether that content is expressed in the form of exercises and activities, texts, instructions, tests, and so on. In other words, the focus is on what the materials contain, measured against the requirements of a particular teaching environment. And that environment may necessitate a number of changes that will lead to greater appropriacy. And this is most likely to be expressed in terms of a need to personalize, individualize, or localize the content. Personalizing materials. Personalizing materials refers to increasing the relevance of content in relation to learners' interests and their academic, educational, or professional needs. While individualizing materials addresses the learning styles both of individuals and of the members of a class working closely together. And lastly, localizing materials. Localizing materials takes into account the international geography of English language teaching and recognizes that what may work well in one region may work in another. Meanwhile, Edge and Wharton in 1998 and Halim in 2016 suggest that experienced teachers do not tend to follow the script of a course book inflexibly. They add, delete, and change tasks at the planning stage, and they reshape their plans during the lesson in response to the interaction that take place. And according to Allwright in 1999, textbooks are respected as research books for ideas and activities rather than as instructional materials. However, if this receptacle of idea is not employed right, it can be a source of deviation. Because modern teaching methodology emphasizes the importance of identifying and teaching to the individual needs of learners. English language classrooms are diverse places not only in terms of where they are situated but also in terms of the individual learners within each context. And commercial materials, particularly those produced for the worldwide English as a foreign language market, is that they are not aimed at any specific group of learners or any particular cultural or educational context. For many teachers, designing or adapting their own teaching materials enables them to take into account their particular learning environment and to overcome the lack of fit of the course book. Now, we will take a look at some of the principles and procedures of adapting teaching materials. First is adding, second deleting, third modifying or rewriting, fourth simplifying, and lastly reordering. Adding. The notion of addition is, on the face of it, straightforward, implying that materials are supplemented by putting more into them while taking into account the practical effect on time allocation. Like, for instance, if students find the explanation of a new grammatical point rather difficult, further exercises are added before they begin the practice material. It is worth pointing out that additions do not always have to be made onto the end of something. A new facet of material or methodology can be introduced before it appears in the framework of the course book. Second, deleting or omitting. Deletion is clearly the opposite process to that of addition. Addition and deletion often work together. Material may be taken out and then replaced with something else. For instance of deletion from reading contents, the following topics are included in the book titled Well Read 3 Skills and Strategies for Reading by Mindy Pasternak and Elisaveta Rangel, which is followed in some institutions in Saudi Arabia. Number 1, affluenza. 2, jobs, occupations, and careers. 3, the spirit of competition. 4, seahorse fathers. 5, addicted to the internet. 6. Street art goes inside from graffiti to galleries. 7. Solo percussionist. 8. Free bike programs. 9. Give a man a fish and a world of fast food. Having looked at the contents of a reading book, teachers may want to investigate whether the reading materials are sufficiently transparent to motivate both students and teachers alike, or is there a student or teacher mismatch? Some materials may seem attractive for the teacher but would not be very motivating for the learners. A balance has to be sought, and hence teachers can delete some of the topics from the reading contents. The second part of this topic will be discussed by Kimberly Cardenas, and I think that's all for my part. Thank you for listening and have a great night.